Hello everyone, I'm Mijean. Welcome to my live stream on Instagram. Today, like I said, we will have another special person. Gabriele Melodia is a fashion designer and illustrator. How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm fine.
Everything
Let's
fine,
play.
Bravo?
Yes, voila. So,
Do you see me well?
yes, I can see. Yes.
Like,
Okay. The light, can you get it a little bit more lighter or is it okay? It's okay, I can
light?
see.
Okay, yeah, I have a flashlight in front of me, so I'm doing the best I can.
Mhm. Yes, now you can see.
Okay,
So, Gabriele, I
here we go.
just said to the viewers that fashion designer and illustrator, but I will let you
Yeah,
explain what you exactly do. Okay, first we can greet them all. Welcome, everybody. So, Gabriele will explain what he does, and I give him the word to do so. Yeah.
yeah. As I say, normally I am a fashion designer and an illustrator at the same time. Normally, I don't like etiquettes, but basically, this is what I do. I graduated last year at the Academy of Fine Arts in Palermo, and so on the paper, I am a fashion designer. But this year, I started to experiment more the illustrator side because it was something that I never did well, except drawing fashion sketches and fashion drawings.
Yeah.
And with the Altaroma opportunity, I had the chance to show what I could do on the illustrative side. And so that's why we are here, because now
Yes.
you also can see what I can do on that subject.
Yeah. So you did the logo for the Rome Fashion Week. You were selected for that.
A
Can you
wonderful
explain
thought.
how that went?
Yeah, I remember that it was July, I think, 2019, kind of that. And it was 3 a.m. in the morning, so it was really late. And I was looking my Instagram feed, and suddenly I saw a post from Simonetta Gianfelici, who was publishing the portfolio review. And so I said, you know what? Why not? I want to try. And so I started to prepare my portfolio, my digital illustrator portfolio. And the
Yes.
next day I sent everything. And I didn't receive an email for the Fashion Week of July, but they contacted me on September. And then they asked me to prepare a drawing, a sketch for, the Fashion Week. And then everything started like that, because then I waited months, 2 months, and I was really anxious because I hoped, I hope they select me. I don't know. But then in December, I received a mail and a phone call,
Yes.
where they told me that I actually been selected, and I remember that I almost fell on my bed. I was so excited, and I couldn't believe it. It was so crazy. And then, yeah, in January, because it was so fast, in January, then I flew to Rome, and there I met with you, and then we are here.
Yes. One moment, I'm going to show people about which design it is because I have also the design here. Huh?
Okay,
1 second, I take it.
no problem.
It's here in this magazine, so people can see
Hmm.
what we are talking about.
If you want, I also have my iPad here with the. I think I have the illustrations. Oh,
Yes.
there she is.
Yeah, that is this
The
illustration.
girl. There she is. Yeah, I think I have the illustration in big size, but I have to find it because my iPad is full of drawings. So I always. Oh, there she is. So it's like there.
Yes.
She's the girl.
And can you tell us where this inspiration came from?
Yeah. So normally like I told several times, I like to draw portraits and female profiles. And last year I started experimenting with this line technique, this minimal technique that it's become my trademark. And so when I received the Altaroma request, I wanted to use this technique because I wanted to show a part of myself in the drawing. And so I took inspiration also from a character who comes from a movie, from a Federico Fellini movie, which is Giulietta degli Spiriti. It was Valentina Cortez, a beautiful actress. She played, you know, this crazy part in this movie. She was like a little, I don't know, yeah, she was like crazy but silent woman. And so I thought that she was a perfect inspiration for this drawing. So as you can see in the drawing, she is looking at the public, but the public can't understand what she's thinking because the public doesn't see what she has in her mind, and she has so many things in her mind, and her mind is covered by the big hat, and the hat is also a reference from a designer, which I had to illustrate because he was the winner of Who is on Next. It was Federico Cina, who was the designer who designed the hat of the illustration. And so I actually combined a lot of elements, you know, black and white, lines, minimal, and also the lines that you see behind her are a silent reference of an object that I really love and that you saw during the Fashion Week, which is the fan, because I love them. And so I took inspiration from the fan because they are the lines of the fan, and so I put them into the drawing. So there are a lot of elements that refer to myself, but you know those things because I'm telling you, but normally when someone sees the drawing, they don't know. And
they don't know exactly what.
Yeah.
And when you look at the face as well, there's also different kind of craziness that you are talking about.
Yeah.
You can see that a little bit in the face as well. Eh?
Yeah, because a part is full of lines, the other part is normal. So you can't actually tell which is the truth and which is the false one. Yeah. It is the funny part of it.
And how are your sketches distinguished from other ones? Is it by how you draw or by?
Yeah, it depends because if I have to do, you know, illustrations like this, I normally work with my iPad, so I'm really creative. I don't care about shapes. I create worlds with the illustration. So, for example, you know, these illustrations I published also on Instagram. These are really fantastic world. You know, it's not a technical or detailed drawing, but you know how it's colored, and there are also like the line which we talked about earlier.
And so an illustration, which designer for the one that I'm seeing now?
This one is a piece from Valentino. It was the haute couture show that he did in Beijing, I believe, and it was a fantastic dress. And you know, yes, this is also Maison Margiela look, which is also black and white, full of lines and also color.
And there again, you can see the different emotions in the face. Huh?
Yeah, the different emotions, because the face is really important for me. I always say if the face is not good, I delete the drawing because the emotions come from there, and also the color that I choose. Because you know, I normally do black and white drawings, but then I have to choose the color if I want to put color behind the model. Because, okay, with this dress, I kind of feel a pink vibe, so I use pink. With this, I use purple, black. So it's always a work that comes step by step, and I don't plan anything. I'm totally improvised.
That's exactly. And also, I think for to do this illustration is a lot of dedication demanded.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I sit there, I take my pencil and start sketching, and I don't think, you know, time flies, and I stay there thinking about what I could do. Today I want to do an illustration of this dress, and I do it. And then when, for example, I have to draw and do sketches for my designs or my collections, the process is the opposite, because there I have to be really precise, you know, to explain the drawing. For example, this is a drawing that I did for one of my clothes, and as you can see, it's really different. It's really precise, you can say technical, but the details are up there, and the seams, the volumes, the shapes, because it must be clear. In the illustration, you are more free. There, you have to sew the dress, you have to know what shape you want to give to the dress, where the seam is, the volume, because it's more technical. And of course, at the same time, for example, I developed, let me find it, yeah, it is here. After that sketch, I have also the technical one. So it's a process.
Yeah. So
Different,
we
yeah.
can see immediately how the clothes will look like.
Exactly, because if you design a collection, you have to be precise because people have to understand what you're drawing. If the dress must be then made by the seamstresses or the pattern maker, so the volume must be clear and everything that you want. In the illustration is way more creative and it's not that clear. After
Okay.
I do.
So yeah, come back to the illustration. You have
Yeah.
told inspiration. I think you got it from movies and
Mhm.
other designers. Where do you get also other inspiration from? Because I think you have several.
Yeah, basically by living, because when I turn around, I see things and I can get inspiration from everything that surrounds me. But of course, I use, like Pinterest for image inspiration, for mood boards, for the collection, basically. Then, if I want to do illustrations, I look at Vogue Runway, where you can find all the fashion shows, and there you can see all the dresses that you want. Of course, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everything, because nowadays we live in a period where everything is in our hands. But of course, we have to be able to select because we are full of stuff. And if you don't understand what you want or what you don't, then you go crazy and you can do nothing because it's really hard. But yeah, basically, this streaming apps and sites.
Okay. And because I also showed that you are still, the fashion design is really still very big part of your life as well.
Yeah.
You did actually also design a collection. It didn't stay on
Yeah.
only on drawing, but you also made a collection.
Exactly. During the fashion design years at the Academy of Fine Arts, I had the chance to design collections, of course. And there I learned how to design a collection. And at the end of the year, we did and realized some and created some dresses. So I sit there, starting sewing, and then the garments behind me are are the proof that something it's as life now. And yeah, and it's a beautiful process because you see the drawing and then you start working, and after a lot of weeks, you see the dress completed, and then you say, "Oh, it's a beautiful feeling," because now you see your dream, what you had in your mind, it's real. It's a totally different.
Can we look at one together?
Yeah, I'll change the camera.
Yes.
I can. Okay, let's start the tour because I selected them in order. Because, for example, if you can see, sorry for the bad lighting, but I don't have. This is, for example, the dress that I did. It was inspired by the 19th century Romanticism. This is 100% houndstooth wool. But the strong part of this dress, except for the jabot, 18th century Versailles jabot inspired, is this sleeve because it's closed on the top and it's closed at the bottom. So it's kind of like a sleeve pocket. Here it's open. You can enter your arm.
Yes.
So if you
and then it gives some kind of trompe-l'œil.
Exactement. Yes. So this was like my first one. Then we have this one, and here I started to do some more wearable clothing because the first one was a little bit creative, And this is really funny because I took inspiration from the see now buy now world, where everything you see on the internet, and then immediately you buy it, and on the back there is this sold writing that is sewn.
Yeah.
So I was like making fun of of everyone because you don't even have the time to buy the dress that is already sold. So you have written on the back. And I started also reusing materials. And as you can see, these are shoelaces, pure yellow shoelaces. They are used to tighten the waist. So, and I think that it's really important nowadays to reuse materials in order to give them new life. And we are living the right period, I think.
Yes.
This is a coat, a pinstripe denim coat, and I call him the street wall coat because it's inspired by the street sign you see in Paris. And this is a great example of reusing because this one
Yes.
This was a part of a bag which my mom had. And
Mm.
so I cut this thing, this side, and I sewed it into the coat. And so a thing that was originally on the bag is now part of the coat. And no waste, it was homemade. And the same goes for here, because these are all pieces of old t-shirt I had, like this, which had these prints. I
Yes.
cut the print and I sewed the print on the coat. These are like pieces of fashion magazines. This is Vogue, I think. So
Yes. I saw Vogue up there. Yes.
exactly. And so this is reusing no waste to create a fantasy.
It's
And
very clever because
yeah,
I
thank you.
know
Thank you.
I know I wrote, I think was it a few years ago, last year, and I said like the new fashion is more like patchwork, reusing materials. So
Exactly. Patchwork
you are doing
is
it.
really important. And using also these, funny big plastic green buttons. So it's like making fun of fashion, but in a positive way. And
Yeah.
this is the last dress, which was part of my graduation collection and is like a deconstructed gabardine stretch trench dress. And as you can see here on the collar, I reused the shoelaces as a detail. And these buttons are also an example of reusing because this was part of a trench my mom had. And so I took all of these buttons, I didn't buy them, they were in my house, and now they're part of something new. Even here, the sleeve, which is deconstructed and detached. Here we have the shoelace and all pieces of old fabrics, tartan fabrics. So reusing, same things goes here. This was part of a trench. So everything is reused to give life to a new design. And this is the end of the tour. So this was really important. And
It's,
it's a new style.
it's really a perfect way to as a solution to what we have in fashion. It's like we have a lot of
Yeah.
tons and tons of
Yeah, yeah, of course. And one must also be able to make these clothes, wearable. The theme you talked with Sander Boss from Making the Cut, for example. How
yes,
can you make these garments, wearable? We can change the shape and the cuts, but the concept is the same. And I think that is
yes.
really important. And nowadays, after this terrible situation we are living, we have to start again thinking that we have to stop wasting everything. So if we can reuse,
Exactly, that you need clothes that you say you can wear, you can
exactly.
reuse, and you can readapt everything. So that's all what I'm seeing there. It's
Exactly.
really great.
And this is the same concept goes with the illustration. So reuse, rethinking, because we are full of stuff. And
Yes.
so we must be ready.
And what I also saw is like with the first garment,
Hmm.
you have that the strap that is like really bringing you back into the 19th century. So I
Exactly.
think that is for you also a very big inspiration, I guess.
Yeah, I love history. And I mixed the two things because, the white jabot, for example, is, the white one. If I can say, like, is inspired from the 18th century. So, Versailles, those world with lace, but at the same time is mixed with the 19th century culture, England, Alexander McQueen vibe. So
Yeah.
I take reference and then I have the idea and I start to deconstruct everything. So I open the sleeve, I close the sleeve at the bottom. So I start to rethink the old garment. I
And it
play
gives,
with garments.
yeah, and it gives some kind of a new vintage.
Yeah, exactly. And I love vintage. It's fantastic. And even here, when I do illustrations, I use lines, but when I do dresses, I use shoelaces to make lines. So maybe lines isn't myself, I don't know, but it's are full of lines and shapes and volumes and yeah. And at the moment, these ones are unique pieces because, of course, I don't have a brand and I don't intend to have a brand at the moment. But maybe one day I would love to create collections which follow this idea of making clothes.
Or maybe collaborations, huh? Because
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And with illustration too, because illustration is a great tool to promote your collections. There are a lot of people nowadays who do, of course, shootings, fashion shootings, models, editorials in fashion magazines. But like in the 20th century, a lot of people use fashion illustrations to promote the dresses, like Givenchy, Rocha. So I think that if you see also on Instagram, fashion illustrations is returning. And there are a lot of fashion illustrators, and I'm really happy because it's a new way of communicating. And so, yeah, I would definitely combine fashion illustration with fashion design to promote my work.
And it's also a little bit what we did in Miro magazine, eh? Like to
With the
announce each designer, we chose this to
yeah,
just.
actually, I think I have it. It was several pieces from the Altaroma fashion shows. So there was, for example, this one, which was an Italo-Marseille dress with
Yes.
all the frogs. You see, there is a line, there is colors. I don't know why I use blue, but in that moment I thought about blue and I put blue. So it's simple, but it's complicated. And then there was also, for example, this one we used in the magazine. And here,
Yes.
there's yellow,
Yes.
there's the jacket. So this one is more technical because you can actually see the jacket. So it depends. Sometimes it's line, sometimes it's the real garment there. And the last one, I think we have this one was from a Jing fashion show, and the hair is the most important piece of the drawing. I decorated the entire drawing with circles, black circles, and lines that I use
There
also.
again, I recognize the Louis XIV style, like in the hair.
It's always present. Louis XIV is always present. But you know, the most important thing for me is that people actually recognize my style. So when they see my illustration, they see, oh, that illustration is from Gabriele, and I'm so happy because it wasn't. I didn't do it on purpose. I only draw. So when they tell me these things, I'm delighted.
Yes, that is also a way to stand out, I think. And it's like,
Yeah. It's wonderful. In fact, I'm really honored to. Oh, thank you. I'm really modest. I always think, you know, I can do better. But when they tell me these things, okay, I am on the right track.
Yes, then it makes you happy, and you say, "That is it."
Exactly.
Okay. And you told me you are not planning on having a collection, but your thoughts are also maybe more on collaborations in the future.
Yeah, you know, as both as a designer and as an illustrator. Because you know, for the moment, of course, I want to enter into a design studio. So I do interviews, I show my sketches, you know, to start also designing for others at the moment. Because I think that it's not the right time for me to create my own fashion brand. I want to have experience. I want to understand how the system works. And of course, as an illustrator, to do illustrations. If someone asks, we will collaborate to make also my style be seen by others, and also with the collaboration with for the magazine, with the cover. So it's a way of standing out, and yeah, I say, yeah, of course, this is a beautiful opportunity.
So how do you see yourself evolve more to the future? Is it like, okay, you will combine both?
Yeah, I see myself working to a design studio, but at the same time doing collaboration for fashion illustrations or illustrations, and so that I can day by day, year by year, combine the two things, and then one day, maybe if I will be lucky enough to, like I said before, I have my own brand. It would be a great idea to show myself and to also show the strength of the fashion illustration in design, because I think that it's really important to make people understand it. And yeah, definitely my brand will bring, if it will exist, fashion illustration under the light. And because these are two parts of me, I can't decide, you know, I am both.
Yes. And if to a young illustrator that is starting, what kind of tips would you give?
Ooh, you know, I'm very young to give tips to young designers. I'm nobody. But draw a lot, because when you draw a lot, you start to understand who you are. And the most important thing is to have something to say, even with clothes and with drawings. You have to say something, you have to communicate something, an emotion. You know, when you normally do illustration, for example, I give illustration to friends, I always say, I'm not giving you a drawing, I'm giving you my feeling of you. So this is what I feel when I'm with you, and this is the drawing version. So it's an emotion that I'm giving you. So drawing is not like doing the beautiful drawing, it's creating a connection, both with the public and with the person. So yeah, the most important thing is to say something and to be ready to fight, because it's not an easy world, but if one is sure of what he's saying, and he believes in himself, because first of all, we have to believe in ourselves first, because we must be the first, then he must be ready to fight and go on. But the first thing is say something, because we need people who actually want to say something.
Yes. And I also think, because when I heard you talk today, and previously, so also you need to do a lot of research also for yourself. It's like,
Of course.
yes.
Yeah, we have to
Because,
study. We have to study, and when we do either designs or illustrations in the fashion world, one must study a lot, because fashion is everything. Fashion is the spirit of the time. We must know history, geography, literature, French literature, German, Italian. So one must really be like an antenna, be connected to be ready to catch everything. And then this everything, you could put it into your collection, and then your collection or drawing will respect the time and it will fit, and it will be understood by the public. If you don't know what's happening in the world and you start doing things, with no with no reason, that won't work. But it's not because of you, it's because it doesn't fit the time. If I start wearing, like we said before, a peruke, or like
yeah.
a got, and I start saying, I'm the Sun King in the 21st century, that would be strange. But at the time, it wasn't. So it depends from the time, and we must respect the time and sometimes anticipate it, because otherwise it's too boring. And we do fashion, so we must be ready to anticipate things.
Exactly. Gabriele, I know you have your Instagram page and you have
Yeah.
also a website. So
Mm-hmm.
if people want to look you up, hit you up,
Yeah, if people want to, yeah, there's my
they
Instagram.
can do that on your website. And the website is?
Yeah, the website is www.gabrielemelodia.com. Really simple. And then my Instagram is also Gabriele_Melodia. So it's really easy that too. And they can find me on Facebook. I have my Facebook page, Gabriele Melodia Fashion Designer, but basically there I put articles and fashion and designs that I do. There's also my LinkedIn profile. I'm everywhere, so if they want to find me, they will.
Yes, you are connected. So that is also one of the
What?
things. Stay
Yeah,
connected.
one must be connected. Otherwise, how can I find you? If I find an interesting design and I want to know who did this design, I want to find out, I want to discover. One must be curious. If you're not curious, if you're curious, then you're ready to go. And this is the beautiful part.
Okay. I think we have come to the closure.
Okay.
That's what I say. Thank you for this, yes, conversation, for this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I would say to everyone, thank you for watching. And also this live stream will be also on YouTube, so they can also re-see it. YouTube is Mirror for You magazine. Easy
I will
to
post it
find.
then.
Yeah, it will be posted in stories. They will share it with you.
Everywhere.
So stay connected as well. Okay. And
Perfect.
big thank you, Gabriele. And
Thanks to you. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to talk to you soon.
See you. Okay. Bye.
Ciao.